Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our AM Connect for July. It is now just past 8 o'clock. It looks like we have about everyone here. We may have a few people joining in. So thank you all so much for joining. Without further ado, I will toss it over to our MC, Victoria Alberti.
So we're getting ready then? Oh, okay. Good morning, everybody. Victoria, HB Website Design, one of your ambassadors, also board member. And we will get rolling here. Just to let you know, our speakers today will be Tim Mcgrath, our president of Goldenwest College, and then Jill Hardy, our mayor pro tem, will be giving our city update. I'd also like to point out that Love at First Bite is our sponsor today, and they are donating for our door prize a charcuterie box. So that'll be nice. So Tina will be pulling that winner toward the end of the meeting. So let's see. Do we have, so I know everybody's muted. Adam will be muting everybody, and we'll pull you on as people will be speaking. And first, do we have, let's see, any new members or first-time people that are visiting us today? I know, let's see, raise your hands, anybody. Scott, why don't you unmute and just introduce yourself, your name and your business.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Planiga, and my company is Charge Energy. I was a member years prior, and I'm trying to rejoin the flock, so to speak. My company is focused on thermal imaging technology to help with the temperature screening of people in businesses as we reopen and restart our economy. So we offer products that you put in place, and they either can screen one person at a time, or they can even screen crowds of people as they walk by to identify when somebody has a temperature that's above normal.
Nice, very timely.
Exactly.
Any other new, yeah, right. Any other, raise your hand if you're new, visiting us for the first time or a brand new member.
I'm officially a member now.
That it for today?
Victoria.
Yes?
This is Sandy. I'm officially a member, but I've been around for a while.
Ah, I said I didn't see you down in the corner there, sorry. I'm trying to scroll between two screens here. So, okay, well, what about, well, Sandy, introduce yourself real quick then, since you're new with us today.
Yeah, I'm Sandy. Hi, Sue. I've been around for a while, but I finally got off my butt and joined. Just new to California. I've been here, 8 months now, but 3 of them were hijacked. So I'm still learning the ropes, and I'm just finally glad to be a member. I'm a business coach, so I help people start, grow, and not give up on their business goals and dreams, and helping a lot of people with processes and procedures to reopen, and new protocols with all the requirements to reopen and stay open. So that's me. Love to challenge you with goals.
Welcome. So what about board members? What board members do we have with us today? Raise your hands, wave at everybody. Bruce, myself, Diane, board members. I'll wave.
Barbara Mason's on.
Pardon?
Barbara.
Oh, and Barbara?
Barbara.
Oh yeah, I did see you're hidden with the phone number. Hi, Barbara.
Yeah. I don't know how to get around that, but it always happens.
Okay, I see you there. I see your phone emoji icon. So, and what about ambassadors? I know we have a couple ambassadors with us today. Catherine, Sue, Linda, myself, Jerry. Is that all of our ambassadors? For any of you, who am I missing? Leanne, Michael. For anybody that is new or doesn't know much about the ambassador program, we're kind of the right hand for the chamber. We assist with ribbon cuttings, which we just had our very first one since all this pandemonium has begun Wednesday at the Electric Bike Company. It was really nice to get out in public and support a local business. We are still doing our ambassador meetings virtually, but if you have any interest in helping out a little bit more on getting members, maintaining members, being the right arm for the chamber, just reach out to myself or one of the other ambassadors, or ask Tina or Amy, who can I talk to? So we welcome more, we have a good time, and we believe in what the chamber's doing, and we're here to support it. So it's a great thing to do. So I think we're going to move on. Jill, are you ready to give us our city update?
Sure.
Okay, so Mayor Pro Tem Jill, I saw you in our little mini parade. You drove by our little gathering of neighbors. It was really fun. So thank you
Yeah,
for
the
being
parade
part of
was
that.
really fun. You know, the statistic everybody talks about is how Huntington Beach, it has the longest running 4th of July parade west of the Mississippi. And a lot of people interpret that as the longest, but that's not actually what the statistic means. It means the most consecutive. We're the city that's had the most parades in a row since 1904. And so it was really important to a lot of people that we not give up that record this year. And so we did still have a parade. Wasn't the first time the route was altered. And I'm really fortunate to be a part of it. I think I saw on a lot of people's faces that all that has gone wrong this year, they finally got to live on the parade route, which is a dream for a lot of us, to be able to buy a house on Main Street and live on the parade route. And at least one Main Street resident was a little bummed that they thought they did live on the parade route and didn't this year. So,
Right.
you know, so it turned out good. You know, we missed a lot of things, of course, our traditional gathering and the fireworks, but I think there were a lot of fireworks to make up for that. And we had a lot of calls for service, but actually calls for service were down this year. So that was interesting. So I was going to start with a wrap up of our front yard 4th of July. And continuing on some other topics for the city, on July 1st, the governor decided that indoor dining was not going to happen for at least the next 3 weeks. So I'm counting down to July 21st to see if we have a change. In the meantime, the city council had already approved outdoor dining for establishments, and it's a no-fee application. They're trying to turn it around as soon as they can. Those of you who are interested in talking to the city about that, community development would be the department to call, 714-536-5271. I ate in the parking lot at Islands. And it's, you know, it's all of this stuff I've kind of learned to, you know, go, okay, this is different. This is unique. This is fun. I got to go home and write this down so I don't forget these experiences. The second block of Main Street, we're working on just closing it down so that the restaurants along the second block can take advantage of the space in front of their stores. So it should be closing down tomorrow. And then as long as indoor dining is not allowed, the second block of Main Street will be closed for restaurants to bring out tables and serve people outside. The City Hall and the police department reopened to the public on June 22nd, but it was announced last night that we're going to be doing a little bit of a close down. We've had, unfortunately, some employees who have tested positive for COVID. And so we're in, you know, just to make sure that we don't end up with no services here, we are shutting down some of the services, and the details on that aren't clear and kind of fluid. We've all learned, you know, what happens on one day is different than on the next day. So if you're coming to City Hall for business, I would recommend that you call first and see if the department that you need is open for a personal visit, or if they can handle your issue or need over the phone. And of course, if you can do it over the phone, I recommend that as well. There are a lot of community services classes that are still up and running. So there's some kid camps, exercise classes, things like that. So if you are a regular SANS customer, you know, the class you like may still be going in some fashion. So definitely check that out. I know my exercise classes that I usually do through the SANS have been online, and they've continued online, but it's been a good program if I could just motivate myself to show up sometime during the day instead of a specific time. That's rough for me. Let's see, what else do I have? So through money from the federal government, we had a small business relief program. Supervisor Michelle Steele decided to take her portion of the county's money and give it directly to the cities to then give directly to small businesses. So we had a lottery last week to choose which small businesses of 30 or fewer employees got grants, and out of an eligible 1,080 businesses, 824 we were able to fund. And so they got grants from $5,000 to $10,000 to help them through, you know, whether it's pay the rent, pay their employees, you know, a lot of small businesses, especially, as you know, need help in this time. Next up, we're going to have the 1HB loan program. And so that's going to be a donation program where some people who are doing well and want to help out will have a vehicle for donating money so that we can then make loans to small businesses to help them get through. So if you go to 1hb.org, that's where you can donate. That's where you should be watching to find out information about the loan program as we get it started in the next month or so. Also, there's merchandise there. So if, you know, we've got 1HB t-shirts and hats, and I keep lobbying to get our cool masks on there, because I don't know if you noticed, it's got the HB logo, but if you look closely, it actually, the beginning of the H is a 1. So, and then for COVID-19 info and updates, just in general, what's the latest? If you go to hbready.com, you can get the latest on that. You know, make sure you social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask. This more we participate in the preventative measures, the sooner we can all get back to normal or a better normal. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that this is my last update as a council member to the Chamber Breakfast. And I just want to say thank you for all of the years of greeting me in the mornings, usually in the summer. And I've always enjoyed seeing all of you. And I'm sure I will see a lot of you around or maybe at Chamber events in the future. But since this is my last official city update, I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Hey, if anybody has, I see one question popped up here. If anyone has a question for Jill, please pop it into the chat right now and we'll get to any questions that anyone has. And one that popped up, Jill, was when will the grant and loan recipients be announced?
So the grant list, I know that City Council was given a list. I think they have to do a double check of just eligibility to make sure. Should be soon. That the grant part, I'm sort of surprised they haven't announced. The loan recipients, I was told that they were kind of waiting on the grant program first, and then they're going to look at the loan program. So it's going to be probably another month before they get the loans announced.
Do we have any other questions for Jill? If you don't know how to do chat, you can raise your hand too. Anybody else? Jill, is there still air show still planning on track as of now?
Unfortunately, our traditional air show will not be happening. One of the things about the air show is that there is a permit they have to get from the state 60 days in advance. And there's really no anticipation that the state will approve the air show at the beginning of August. And so I know that Kevin Elliott is looking, and Code 4 is looking into some alternative that wouldn't involve the city. But from the city's point of view, we just don't see the state approving a mass gathering like that at the beginning. They'd have to approve it at the beginning of August to say it's okay for 60 days later. And we just don't see that it's going to work.
Oh, I'll be very sad. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
So okay, well, I'm sure we'll be updated as they find out more on that.
Oh, you know what? There was another question, and this one I know. And for those of you who don't know, I do teach at Marina High School. So somebody asked if there was any news related to school returning. The Ocean View School District, which is K through 8, announced that they're going to have 2 options: full in person or full online, depending on what a family's needs are. So I do know that. I know the high school is still looking at different options, and it ranges anywhere from all online to all in person to some sort of hybrid where half the students go a couple days a week, the other half go the other couple days a week. They're still looking at options. I would predict that it's some sort of hybrid. I know as a teacher, the cheating in the spring was rampant. So I'm hoping that I at least see my students often enough to be able to give them tests in person, but I really hope I see them more than that, so I'm not always testing them in person. But it's still up in the air. We're fortunate in Huntington Beach, we don't start school until September. The high school starts September 6th. The elementary start September 9th or 10th. And so we get to see what other districts in the county are doing for a few weeks before we attempt to do it ourselves.
Great. And then finally, we have a follow-up on the other one on the, are they, for the loans, are they required to be in business as of 12/15 like the PPP?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that if you hadn't gotten PPP loans, that you actually get had a little bit of a bonus in the grant lottery. So for the loan program, I don't know what the in business date looks like or anything.
Okay. And any news on the library?
Yeah. So the library has a pickup system, so you can request your books online and then go pick them up from the library, and that will remain even though we're kind of slowing down our opening of City Hall right now. The library pickup program will continue.
Okay. And then Jill, could you please put in the chat the website for the HB shirts and hats that you mentioned?
Yes, I will do that. It is 1hb.org, but I'll type it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh,
Very
I
good.
see that John Collins from Fountain Valley passed away. Thank you for sharing, Jerry. He was always so much fun.
Yeah, wasn't aware of that either. Okay, well, thank you very much, Jill. We'll miss you for our updates, but we appreciate you being here when you have been.
And I'll keep watching the chat comments and try and answer the questions as they come in. Thanks for
having me. That'd be great.
Victoria,
awesome.
Victoria, this is Mette from the Viking Foundation. Just one additional question or two, if I may, for Jill. When you talk about the library, Jill, I know that they have not been taking donations of books. Will that change? And can you also speak quickly the summer concert? I'm not aware. Was that relinquished as well? The the concert band and all that.
Yeah, so the summer concerts weren't able to happen because it's a large gathering.
Yeah.
As far as book donations, I know that's been frustrating to me too, because my kids have run through every book in the house and it would be nice to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Now that we've used them. My son has reread many several times. But because, anything they donate, then they have to sit to the side for a while, and they also don't have the staff coming in to sort through them. For now, they're not taking donations, but I also am looking forward to doing that, and they know I'm pestering them about that issue.
Thank you, Jill.
Yeah, they're
Thanks.
stacking up.
Good.
Now, also, is everybody aware that there is an app, Cloud Library, that you can download any book from our public libraries by putting your library card in and check them out that way? So I just read my books on my tablet and I just check them out like I would go in there. So if anybody, something to think about.
Not only that, but there's audiobooks and movies also, and a lot of classic movies that you can't find anywhere else.
Right. Yeah, and you can check them all out online. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on, and now we have our guest speaker for the day, which is our president from Goldenwest College, Tim Mcgrath. Tim, are you ready to take it away?
I am. Can you share your screen for the PowerPoint presentation, please?
Yep, I'll be displaying the screen. So if you just want to go ahead and say next, I can get you onto the.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and with the same thing, if you have questions for Tim along the way, put them in the chat and so he can address them at the end of his talk.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for inviting me. I am still getting used to Zoom meetings, even though it seems like I have 10 or 12 of them every day. My preference still is face-to-face. Like Jill, I enjoy seeing and being around people, and Zoom just doesn't have the same feeling, but we'll do the best that we can. All right, next slide, please. So the college has been shut down since March 17th. What was unique about our move to being shut down is we had a week to move about 2,000 classes from traditional classroom format to being online. So our faculty and classified staff and our students did an amazing job of switching, my expression has been on a dime, to go from what they signed up for to a whole new environment. But the students, the faculty, the campus did an amazing job. If you walked onto the campus right now, though, you would think that students were still there because our M&O staff, our facility staff continues to mow the lawn, maintain it, and so the campus looks in pristine condition. All of the staff, faculty, and administrators are working on an alternative modality plan, which really is a work from home. So we're using Zoom for our face-to-face meetings, a lot of phone calls, and I send out a daily note every day to keep the campus up to date on whatever the latest developments are regarding the virus, regarding the budget, regarding really our community needs as well. We do have 3 programs that we just cannot have use Zoom for our students. One of those is our criminal justice program. It is continuing. We had to suspend it in March. We waited to work with the governor and the state chancellor's office, but they have resumed about a month ago. The plan is that they will graduate, I believe, at the end of September or October. We have a commitment to about 28 cities for their future police officers, and so we need to meet that. So we use the social distancing and masks. We've altered the program, but criminal justice is continuing. Cosmetology, we were hoping that it would come back in the fall. It's difficult to have students cut someone's hair virtually, and a number of salons are waiting for our students, but we are still trying to work that out as well. Right now, I would say if we do come back in the fall, it will be in the last 8 weeks, somewhere at the end of October. And the other one is nursing. How ironic that at a time when we need more nurses than any other time, because of social distancing, we were not able to continue the program, as well as with our accreditation. Nursing accreditation had some guidelines. But we worked with state legislators. Our local legislators have been really key, and we have been able to reopen our nursing program. Our students, hopefully, we just graduated a group in the end of May, and we've started another group. So in order to meet the community needs as well, our nursing program, following all the same guidelines as criminal justice, masks, and social distancing, is continuing. But those are the only 3 programs that are continuing on our campus. Next slide, please. So what we've done with COVID-19 is we have converted 60 of our Goldenwest employees, and we created a program called CAMP. Really, it's case management program. And really what it is we have been calling about 4,500 students on a biweekly basis just to check in with them. One, to see how their classes are going. 2, do they need any additional resources? And 3, how are they doing mentally as well? It's one thing for you to be around people. It's another thing to be around people virtually. And for a number of students, it's difficult to take their classes in that manner and lose the interaction. So we want to make sure that we're part of their life. There's a future slide where we had developed a mental health program as well. But most students are surprised that we not only have started this program, but we've continued it for the last 5 months, where we're actively engaged with students, letting them know that once they're part of the Goldenwest family, through thick and thin, that when it's thin, we really are with them. And so they've appreciated it very much. Also, we're one of the few colleges whose spring enrollment was up. Our summer enrollment is higher than it was last summer, and our fall is looking good as well. And I think it's for a number of reasons, but one of them being the camp program, where students really feel that they're part of the campus and that we really care about them a lot more than just students. Next slide, please. From the CARES funds, we received about $1.5 million. And so in the spring, we handed out $1 million to over 1,000 students to help them with their student needs, as well as their living needs as well. We also gave away $4,600 in emergency grants. Bruce is on the line. Bruce and his staff did an amazing job The foundation donated $40,000 in emergency funds, and we gave away 160 emergency grants to students that didn't qualify for other funds, just to help them get through. And then our global Center for Global and Cultural Programs gave away another $5,000 to 20 international students as well. And I'll mention the international students. There was a federal guideline that came out this week that unless students, international students, are taking on-ground or traditional classes, that they need to return to their home country. And so we have probably, I heard the other day, 6, 7, 8% of our enrollment is international students within the Coast District. And having those students return would have a big impact on our campus. Plus, most people don't realize the college experience really comes from the diversity of students, and students from around the world create a diverse environment that really enhances the learning experience. So we're hoping that we'll be able to work through this issue. But right now, international students received some difficult news this week. We had a phone call yesterday of about 140 international students to bring them up to date on what's going on. But that is something that we didn't anticipate, but it's just another hurdle that we need to get through with our students. Next slide, please. The other issue that we've had for students is when you can't work, for a lot of them, that means you can't eat. And so we've been giving out grocery cards or vouchers. We've been working with the Harvest Food Bank, which is an amazing organization. I will climb on the highest building in Huntington Beach and sing their praises. But through them, we've given away about 75,000 pounds in food, which equates to over 60,000 meals. And we've also given away almost $1,000 in Visa restaurant cards to homeless students. So we've tried to walk alongside of students, not only from an educational perspective, but really from a personal perspective, trying to understand what are your issues. And so with the vouchers, with the grants that we've been given, we've hopefully helped students make their rent payment, pay their utilities, as well as be able to eat during these times as well. Next slide, please. In addition to the food, students who signed up to attend a traditional classroom, now all of a sudden it's on Zoom and they don't have either a computer or they don't have the technology, all of a sudden they don't have access. And so we've distributed over 150 Chromebooks, and what's unique about a Chromebook, at least the ones that we gave out, they have Wi-Fi access built into them, so that kept the cost down for students. And you can see we have webcams, keyboards, headsets, hotspots, whatever students have needed, we have tried to meet their needs. I think it's on Tuesday, we have a group that goes out in the parking lot and we do a drive-by handout or distribution. So we've kept the social distancing, but we've been very engaged with students during this time. And our IT staff has done a great job in working with students who needed the additional IT support with their current equipment to make sure that they had access to online classes. Next slide, please. I don't know if you can see this, but our student service group has done a great job outlining for students not only what we have done, but also the services that are available as well. And so we've been sending these out to students as well as to community members to let them know that we do have these services. One of the most frustrating things, and I'm sure Jill can relate, is when you have services to help people, but no one's aware that you have them. And so we've been doing a marketing campaign as well to impact our community and our students to get the word out. And I'm hoping that happens again today as you come across people that would ask questions, or you hear, what about? Well, please send them our way so we can step in and help make a difference for them. Next slide, please. The other thing that's a sad part of this, and when we lose the interaction with people, it impacts each of us, and some to the place of depression. And so with that, rather than ignore it, we wanted to jump in and be part of our students' lives. And so our Student Health Center has phone and video conferencing services on an appointment, emergency or non-emergency basis. And we've even taken some emergency calls as well to interact with students and to really be part of their life and give them some coping mechanisms to get through this. One of the difficult things, though, as we all know, is how long does this last? I think if people knew it lasted till August 1st, well, I can hang in there. But is it August 1st of this year or August 1st of next year? And that uncertainty certainly impacts people in different ways. We've also, through our Goldenwest physician, we have a COVID-19 question and answer session. It's available to students as well as the public. It's every Tuesday at 3. We give the latest update from the health department, any changes from the college, and then we just take general questions to help students and the general public deal with whatever the latest information is. All of this information is available on the college's website, and you're all welcome to use it and to share it. It's part of the work. I think that it's the obligation of the college to do, to be part of the community and help support the community in as many ways as we can. Next slide, please. We have the Student Ally Center, which is formerly the Equity Center, and it continues to aid students with non-academic challenges. And so housing, for instance, food insecurity, those types of issues, the Ally Center has reached out to students, and they've been proactive, not waiting to hear. They have gone in and asked student service, our staff, are you hearing anything from any students? Is there, we've checked our app, the Goldenwest app, if there's anything. And so we have tried to be proactive. And you can see we've had 300 visits and about 100 unduplicated student cases. Next slide, please. So for the update, I wish it was different, but for the fall semester, except for the 3 programs that I mentioned, all of our classes will be online. We are starting our spring schedule and our intersession, and we are keeping it flexible with the hope that we will be able to return. One thing that most people don't realize is we can't afford to do social distancing in our classes. And I say that our classes are predicated on having an average of about 35 students in the class. And that the funding that we receive from the state is what our budget is predicated on. So if we did social distancing at half of that, all of a sudden, we aren't generating the income that it takes to run the college. So from a statewide perspective, we are taking a close look at if we do have to come back with some type of distancing, how can we make it economically viable? So even though legally we could come back, until we can deal with the fiscal issues, that we might have to be a little bit behind everyone else. I also know I've been talking to Huntington Beach Unified, the high school district, and we have closely monitored what they're doing, and they're monitoring and working with us, with the idea being that when we come back as an educational group, that we're going to complement each other as well. We all share parents, and that is something that we need to be aware of from a parent perspective in how we come back online. As I mentioned, our enrollment has been up. We've been up the last 3 or 4 semesters, but this summer we're dramatically higher enrollment, and I'm hoping that will increase or continue to be true in the fall. One of the reasons is I just read where Harvard, for instance, is charging students the same tuition as if they were on ground or on campus for their online program. We community colleges have been doing distant education for 20 years. Harvard is still kind of relatively new to the game. And so for parents to pay $50,000, $60,000 a year for tuition, when they could get, if they're California residents, free tuition and a better education in a distant ed format, then A lot of parents are saying, why am I, because Johnny will be sitting at the kitchen table doing his college work, whether it's at Harvard or at Goldenwest, why am I paying the additional resources? And so I think that's had a huge impact on our enrollment. Attendance and efficiency rates continue to be up. Our dual enrollment program is where we offer college classes on high school campuses. We have an amazing relationship with Huntington Beach Unified, and those classes have continued to, the enrollment has been very strong, and we've even increased the number of students involved in the program. Non-credit is primarily ESL, English as a second language. That program has not been as successful in the online format. For students that don't speak the language, it's a little harder for them to move into the Zoom world, but we are working on develop some new modalities that hopefully will work with them. And our committees, in particular our curriculum committee, has continued to work online, and we are continuing to adjust and alter our curriculum as we go to make sure we're meeting the student needs. Next slide, please. Like everyone else, graduation came and we had to figure something out. So we had a couple of really unique virtual graduations. The first one was our criminal justice. We had over 400, we had 50 graduates and over 400 people that attended it online. The families and relatives were part of the occasion, and we tried to make it as memorable for them as it was for us, and I think we succeeded. We also had an amazing nursing pinning on June 7th. Another 40 nurses entered into the medical field to take care of the emergency that's going on right now. We had a drive-through graduation parade. You can see the picture there. Families, staff members, social distance with their own families, but we drove through the parking lot and had a parade for our graduates. And then we had a virtual graduation celebration. What was unique about our graduation celebration is the students that graduated this year, we invited them to come back next year. If they want to participate in our traditional graduation, then they are welcome. So they'll be able to probably be the first ones in the history of the college to graduate twice. Next slide, please. Our student service has done an amazing job. Most people are unaware of, between the 18-19 year, we had more college graduates with degrees and certificates than any community college in the state. And so that was something that we're very proud of. It was a 53% increase. And so we are actively working with each one of our students and letting them know what degrees and certificates that they qualify for. A lot of times students start taking classes and have something in mind and fail to realize that they meet certain requirements. And so we have been active in reaching out to them. We've been doing virtual college workshops. We have a TV show, Goldenwest Live, every Thursday it's a topical show. And we've been getting 50, 60 students that have been joining the live presentation to keep them abreast of what's going on. And I think because of our CARE program, our retention and completion rates, even in these difficult circumstances, have continued to improve. And really, I would climb on that same building and sing the praises of our faculty and our student service. They have adjusted and really have made a huge difference for our students' success. Next slide, please. We've been partnering with Huntington Beach Police and Fire Department, and we've let them say, please use the campus for whatever training needs that you have. We have some buildings that are coming down, and so please go in, blow things up, chase each other through the hall, practice whatever way that you want, because as you're successful, we're successful. And so if you hear sirens on the campus, rest assured that it's the police and the fire practicing. There's nothing significant going on the campus other than we are partnering with our community. We've also partnered with the health agencies to do drive-through testing for the virus. We've allowed certain groups. We have a church that meets on campus. They have returned because churches have been allowed to, with certain guidelines, to resume. We've also been working with a swim club. Swimming has been allowed to resume, and so they've been using our pool following the Orange County guidelines. And our swap meet office, I think we receive 100 phone calls a day. When are we reopening? When are we reopening? And I will be the first one there on the day that we do reopen. It's a huge community service. We have about 10 or 15,000 people that come through the swap meet every Saturday and Sunday, and 1,000 vendors. And those vendors, that's the money that they eat with to supply resources for their family. And so having that down has a huge economic impact. And so we are waiting. We've had a couple of meetings trying to strategize about how we could bring it back, but we're just waiting for the governor and Orange County to give us the go-ahead, and then we will be coming back with the swap meet. Next slide, please. We've still been working during the downtime. Our bookstore renovation's been completed. We did a retaining wall around the amphitheater. Our language art will be our last bond project. In December, we'll be tearing down our humanities building and starting the project on our language arts building, which will be right in the center of campus. We've been updating our classrooms, and we've done some significant work on our automotive building. So even though classes are down, there's been a lot of work that's been continuing on the campus. And when students come back, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised, not only how the campus looks, but also how we've improved it to meet their needs. Next slide, please. Like everyone else, we are aware of the social justice issues that have been going on in our communities. The college held 3 town hall meetings and really took a close look. We held up a big mirror and took a look at the college. How are we doing in this area? What institutional barriers? How receptive are we to Black students, their employees in our community? And so we've developed an action plan in 5 areas to create some new Black student programs, take a close look at our campus climate, review our curriculum, hiring practices, and professional development. And so I am hoping that the beginning of August, we met during the last part of June and the first part of July. Each one of these 5 groups have an action plan. They're taking the next month to put those plans together. The campus will be getting back together the middle of August, and I'm hoping when students return, we will have some big steps that the campus has taken regarding the social justice issue. I think it's our job in the community. If we can't have heart-to-heart discussions from an educational perspective, then how can we expect those conversations to take place anywhere else? So I look to us to really be the leaders in our area on this issue. Next slide, please. The other, we all heard, and I know Jill's aware of it as well, the virus has impacted the state budget dramatically. And so we have been impacted as a college, as the K-12 districts have as well. And so with that, we've instituted a hiring freeze. We offered a supplemental retirement incentive, which is an early retirement. We've frozen step and column, which is the natural annual increases that people get. We've reorganized the campus, and we've had to use some of our savings, which are called district reserves. So even though it's a huge deficit, my hope is that students will never know that we're going through these budget issues. The idea is to keep the cuts as far away from the classroom as we can, and to continue to support our students the best that we can. If these cuts continue for another year or so, I don't know if I'll be able to keep that commitment, but for this year right now, we've done a very good job. And I need to sing the praises of the Goldenwest family. Everyone has really stepped up. They understand the budget cuts impact all of us, and they have really done more than what they've been required because their mission really is to serve our community and the students that we're fortunate enough to have attend the college. Next slide, please. And then finally, if you look, that's the normal picture, except we're all wearing masks. And that's just our new normal, as it's true for all of us. And we are figuring it out as everyone else is. But I can tell you really strongly that our family will come through this. And at the other end, it will be an experience that all of us will be able to tell our kids about. And we'll learn some valuable lessons. And I think we'll do a better job as an educational institution. So that is my my presentation. If there are any questions, I am more than happy to answer them. Let's see.
Well, Tim, I did see one that came earlier. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
Was, what is the criteria for the students being part of camp? How do you evaluate which students to contact, grades, and red flags? All three questions there.
So the first one is if they were in any special programs, vets, Puente, first year, and so that was the first group. EOPS, DSPS, if the counselors knew of any reason that we should. Then we sent out emails letting students know that we were starting this program so anyone could opt in as well. And then if faculty, so if I was your faculty member and I start noticing that you're kind of drifting off, then I can let the camp team know that Victoria is drifting off, and so we'll add you to the list. Some students don't want to be contacted, but I'd rather have someone say thanks but no thanks versus, oh, why didn't you call me? So we started with about 2,000 students, and we've been adding to that group as we've gone, as we've heard more and been able to identify more students.
Great. Another question was, how are the veteran students doing?
That's one of the groups that we reach out to. Our equity coordinator, Susie, who's also very involved in the Oakview community, is in charge of the vets, and we have a separate group that's calling them. They also have their own phone tree, and they really look after one another. So I have not heard of any issues in particular with the vets, but we've been proactive with that group, letting them know what a big part that they play in the campus and how their mental health is important to us.
Do we have any other questions? Any hands up? Unmute yourself and speak up. You gave us a lot of information, so I think you covered pretty much everything going on at the school.
And again, I am really happy that the chamber is on our campus. I know it's difficult for everyone right now, but again, my support, and I think the vision that the chamber has is something that the college can certainly get behind. And so thank you for all the people on this phone call and the work that you do on behalf of the city.
Thank you.
And finally, if anyone has any questions, please, you are not bothering me. Everyone thinks I have the busiest job in the world. My job really is to be part of the community. And so please send me an email, reach out to the college, and if I don't know the answer, I'll be more than happy to find it and get it back to you. But again, thank you guys for all the work you do.
Oh, here.
Thank you, Tim. So any chamber updates, Amy and Tina, that you want to talk about before we go on to your giveaway?
I could give one, Victoria, maybe before Amy does.
You're muted, Tina.
Amy, go ahead, Amy.
Really just updates that we have coming up is just our regular AM Connects every month. And we have After 5 mixers going on every month virtually from Zoom. We also have B2Bs. We have a B2B coming up in 2 weeks on July 22nd. And that topic will be actually on, we have California Retailers Association and Visit HB will be speaking at our B2B on the 22nd. So we encourage all of you to join us for that. As far as any major events, all of our events have been postponed and are on hold. we will continue to update everybody as we get information and as we push forward. Do you have anything else to add, Tina?
Nope. That's it.
I could just add one thing in there with you, Amy. We've been putting in some work on our website, trying to add resources for everybody. One thing that we've been focusing on a lot is our Huntington Beach Business Journal, which you can find at hbchamber.com/hbbj for Huntington Beach Business Journal, and that will keep you up to date on a lot of Huntington Beach happenings. That's it for me, Victoria.
Okay, so Tina, do we have some names?
I do. Now, did we already introduce Sue from Love at First Bite and Diane?
I mentioned her at the beginning. Is she here with us to
and then
talk at all?
Diane from Assistant League is going to give a bottle of wine too. Can we see Diane? Is Diane on?
Diane's on.
Diane, do you want to show them the bottle of wine?
Sure. I just thought it would be neat to have a bottle of wine to go with a charcuterie box that Love at First Bite is donating.
Very
It's
nice.
a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. The only thing is that we'll have to get that to the winner separately from the charcuterie box.
Okay.
How is that Love at First Bite going to be get to the winner?
You'll have
They
to
have
go
to pick it up.
Yes, you'll have to go pick it up. Okay, and it's a great bottle. It's a $30 value and it looks delicious. So,
So maybe a way to get that bottle dropped off to Love at First Bite and get them picked up at the same time.
No, I'm sorry that I spoke to Sue and they're not allowed to have alcohol on their premises or give it away. So
never mind.
Whoever is the winner will connect with them and I'll get them the bottle of this Sauvignon Blanc.
Well, they can stop by Assistant League and when it opens and pick it up, right, Diane?
No. Connect directly to me. I'll connect. Yeah.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, we're not open yet.
Okay.
Who knows when?
I know. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Emmy's going to pick out a name. Pick it out, Em. Pick one. You want to pick one? Okay. I'll close my eyes. Ready? It is Diane Thompson.
Yay!
Is she on?
Yep, she's on. She's muted at the moment.
Probably muted.
A wave.
Sorry. And then, well, she's yeah. And real quick, Maddie from Viking had mentioned also Marina High School. They're doing a discount cards for the fall. If you know any food places that want to be involved to offer students a small discount, they can contact her. So Maddie, why don't you put your contact information to everyone there?
That
so if
sounds
anyone
great.
wants to participate, they can reach out to you.
That would be wonderful. We would appreciate it. We are planning for the future.
And Victoria, we can mention the gala. It's just that, we're just still in the early planning stages, but if you want to mention it, that's fine.
Well, a heads up we're contacting everybody that had pre-purchased tickets for the gala first, because it'll be first come, first serve. So those that already committed, but we're going to do it for those of you that haven't heard yet. We're trying to make this happen, and we think it will. Is a drive-in gala. And Adam, can my screen be shared?
Yes, I believe your code.
I have the layout here. Let's see if we can do my one screen. Do I hit share screen on mine? It's that one right there. No. I don't think it's going to work. I was going to show you all the layout, but I don't think I can get that to work.
Perfect.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're thinking of doing, this is down at the wetlands, PCH in Newland. We are going to do a drive-in event where we're going to have, when you first pull in there, can you see my cursor, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you first pull in, these will all be the cars, all facing toward, here's where the band will be. We're going to have the silent auctions under the awning over here. And you'll be able to pull in your car. We're doing every other car space, having your table and chairs right in front of your car. So everyone's kind of facing toward where the music is. And then we're going to have Love at First Bite doing our 3-course meal that they will be going around with their little cart, handing it out to each table. So you can have, 2 to 4 people at your car spot. If you have a little more than that, they're part of your immediate party. We can spread into the space next to it too. It should be really fun. Everyone we've talked to so far has been pretty stoked about doing this. So we're hoping it's going to be that we can make this happen. It's going to be fun and successful.
Mhm. And we
Yeah,
also have our silent auction items, and it will be a
Yes.
program also. We're going to introduce our new board still, and some of the elected officials. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And social distance.
So keep your eyes open. Yeah, we'll be sending out information on that. So August 28th is our date for that. And if you're interested, you can contact the chamber and they'll give you more information. Right, Tina?
Yep. Perfect.
Okie doke.